Well, hello, beloveds. I am Reverend Amani Malaika. I am here with beloved Raymont, Dr. Reverend Raymont Anderson. And if you have been with us before, you may know that Ray has been covering for me while I have been away on sabbatical, and I am now returning. So we get to spend this time together for our April theme. If you are new to us, welcome. This is a little bit of a different format than I typically do for sermon content and messages, and I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for watching. So, my gentle giant, Reverend Raymont.
Yes.
This is I just have a giant gratitude.
Thank you.
It has been what a wondrous thing to have you kind of step into the fold and allow me to just rest with ease and no worries, knowing you were holding down.
Amen. Yes. My pleasure. I am honored. Thank you. Yeah, just I'm honored and filled with gratitude to know that I was able to give you the space to take care of yourself. So thank you.
And amen. A little bit of what we're going to be talking about this month in April. So let's talk a little bit about our April theme, which is giant gentleness. And I wanted to share a little quote that came from the minister who prepared this, which is, in those flashes, when we are conscious of our oneness, there is an openness and all-encompassing love. In all the other moments in our lives, we need and really deserve giant gentleness. So that's what we're going to be diving into during this April series, during the next 4 weeks. And I am really excited because I like the way that we're going to have an opportunity to talk about what it means to be gentle with ourselves, to bring that gentleness to others, to our communities, and to the world, and anchoring all that in the reality of sort of this cosmic oneness that you and I belong to, and that it is giant, right? That this giant gentleness, this force of love, the divine, the beloved, the holy, blessed one, whatever we want to call it, is greater than the epic amounts of despair and violence and pain and suffering that we are personally experienced, that I personally experience, and that the world is experiencing on greater and greater levels. And so I wanted to give some context to, may these things be able to be met from this place of love, of the one, of the gentle giant that is God, that is you, that is me. Because we need it. The giant, epic pain of the world must be met with the giant, gentle, loving force that is the divine. What say ye, Rev Raymont?
Oh, I'm right there with you. Yes, because there's so much going on, both in our individual lives and in the collective experience, where it's easy to feel worn down, worn out, beaten down, beaten up, overwhelmed with so much pain and trauma and grief, that if we're not in a space of being gentle with ourselves, with the process, not gentle with the entire way that we show up, then we're actually doing, one, greater harm to ourselves than the collective, because we're not ensuring that our cups, are full. Mm-hmm. And we're actually impeding the process of healing. Right? Like when I had surgery and they're like, don't do nothing for a couple of weeks. Like,
don't
walk.
Don't do it.
It Right, right. Like you have to give your body time to. That's gentleness. That's compassion. Well, if I'm going to do that with my body post surgery, am I doing that with my heart and my mind post argument or post activism or even simply, scrolling through? Wait a minute, the police shot enough. Like if I'm not doing the same, pause, breathe, be gentle, be compassionate. That doesn't mean throw up your hands and do nothing. It means right now, what do you need to do for you?
Amen.
Because you can't do something for another if you're not making sure that you're taken care of, that you have the capacity. Breathe. So, yeah, I'm right there with you 1000%.
Amen. Amen. So, beloveds, may you welcome in the gentle and giant nature of the Holy Blessed One. May you be blessed by it more and more and more throughout this series. I love you so much. So glad you're here. I want to invite you to get obsessed. I want to invite you into a sweet and powerful, positive obsession. And you can join me by doing this. There's several things that are freely offered, no financial requirement. You can get a phone call and a text every day from our prayer warriors, our practitioners. It's called Spirit Calling, delivered directly to your phone. You can sign up for the app that we have built, where you get a message and journal prompts and recommended spiritual practices, an opportunity to get connected in community with other wonderfully obsessed humans through our small groups. And all of these things you can find on our website, abqcsl.org. It is my deep, deep, deep desire to invite you into yourself and your own powerfully divine nature, and to invite you into building this unquantifiable number of people who are so sweetly obsessed with our inherent connection and manifesting that audaciously in this world, as this world. I'm so glad you've been with us. I'm so glad you will come back and keep at it. You are worth it. Love is worth it. Reverend Raymont, are you ready to talk about the other?
Yes, of course. Let us dive in.
Other in loves. And I'd like to share a quote from Ernest Holmes, founder of Science of Mind. He says, "When we let the love that is within us go out to the God who is in all people, then we are loving God with all our heart and with all our soul and mind, because we are recognizing that the spirit within us is the same spirit that we meet in others. This is loving our neighbors as ourselves."
Amen.
Amen. The golden rule, as it's known, or sometimes it's, evolved into the platinum rule. Mm-hmm. But one of the things in the culture that we live in that I like to talk about a lot is loving our neighbors as ourselves is problematic at times. If you did not see the video, I'm going to ask you to go back. You can see why it's problematic. Because if we are not loving ourselves well, we can't love others well. But I really loved Ernest's take on this, which is when we love that is within us, the love that is inherent as a divine being that each one of us is made up of, when we let that go out to the God, the love, the divinity that is within all people, then we are loving our neighbors as ourselves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this reminds me of, so one of my favorite parables in the Bible, the Good Samaritan, and I often remind people that our call or our invitation is to be 21st century New Thought Good Samaritans.
Mm.
which immediately transitions me into the idea of the song from Sesame Street. Who are the people in your neighborhood? They're in your neighborhood. They're in your neighborhood. Say, who are the people in your neighborhood? They're the people that you meet each day, right? So our neighbor isn't strictly the person that looks like us, speaks like us, is
Believe
physically right, right? Like it's the neighbor is wow. So wait a minute, wait. So my neighbor is every individualized expression of God. The tree in the front yard, my neighbor. Because
Mm.
how I treat it is how I'm treating God. The neighbor's dog or that stray cat or well, how I treat it is right. So, and it reminds me of there's a song we often sing in New Thoughts. I love myself so much so that I can love you so much, and it makes me think of well, wait a minute, wait. But if what if I don't love myself? I hate myself so much. That's why I hate you so much. Whoa, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So therein lies the how well am I embodying what we talked about before, this cosmic, universal, loving? How am I recognizing that as the truth of my being? Because if I don't see that as me, right, like that's where that whole, homomisia and transmisia idea within, as a former Christian, as a former closeted gay man within that version of Christianity, it was, I cannot accept or acknowledge this aspect of myself, so I must deny it, suppress it, try to pray it away, etc., while also carrying the banner of, you're all gonna burn in hell because, ooh, if that's the me that I know, then that's the me that I'm gonna judge others based on. But the moment I get to a space of, I love myself enough to be courageous enough to say that within the confines of this tradition, I'm not supposed to help this person who's laying on the ground.
Right.
You're supposed to pick yourself up by your own bootstraps.
That's right.
You do it yourself.
Yeah. How'd you get yourself
Besides,
there?
right? Besides, I'm not in the same spiritual tradition, so you do you. But I'm courageous enough to say, love has no bounds. How can I be of service? How can I often remind people, that passage in the Bible when Cain and Abel is, am I my brother's keeper? And I often say, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? Am I my transgender siblings' keeper? No, I am them and they are me.
That's right.
Together.
One in the same.
Amen.
Not, but there for the grace of God go I. It is
Right.
by the grace of God go I.
Amen.
Right. And it's a grand idea. It's a giant idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's this idea that you and I are one, that there is no separation. And it is a theological truth that I wholeheartedly ascribe to.
Mm-hmm.
And the practice of that means being willing to, eyes wide open, look at the places within myself that I have deemed unacceptable,
Mm-hmm.
deemed outside of God, that I have judged and critiqued, that then spills right on out to everybody and every creature I come across.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I am judging and critiquing. I am deeming unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it funny that even just in terms of biology and physiology and the physics, that we would have the audacity to believe that somehow we are separate or separated. Because I can guarantee you that if we're in the same space, and there can be a partition, right? We're separated. We can't see each other, but we're I can guarantee you that if I fart on my side of the partition, because we're connected, you don't need to see it, you know it.
That's right.
We're connected. So if we can understand that on that level, just sheer biology and physics, then it's not that far of a stretch, recognizing that all things in the physical have the spiritual as the backing. Then in this realm of, well, wait a minute, God is all there is. And that cosmic universality that it is the exact same as me, same as you, same as that person, that Klan's member, and that toxic police officer, and that it's all so okay, let me rewind and come back and, referencing the quote that you said. So let me ask myself, one, do I love me enough? Do I love myself to the capacity that I am willing and able to remove this supposed partition that separates us, which is why I love Daryl Davis, because he is the bodhisattva of this idea, this black jazz musician having conversations with Klansmen, getting to the point where there is no more opposition and they are now friends. Do I love myself enough to engage in this process of, I may not even speak to the person, but engage in the process of at least seeing them? Namaste. That which is the divine recognizing itself in through and as me, in through and as you. There is only one. And do I love myself enough to even go there?
Right.
Because when I do, then it changes how I show up in the world.
Yeah. And I can hear all the people who are listening to you right now go, well, damn, I'm not trying to hang out with Klansmen, But here's the thing. Not only, the loving myself that you're speaking of is so big. The love that Ernest is talking about, when you let the love that is within you go out. We are not talking about Hallmark card love.
Right.
This love is so giant and so powerful that I can trust it.
Mm-hmm.
That I can trust it to take me into conversation with a Klansman. That I can have so much faith in the giantness and power of that love that is within me to carry me, to hold me, to guide me, to uplift me, to strengthen me, to be in that conversation, to be in that set of circumstances, to have the strength and the presence, eyes wide open at what is, to meet it and love it.
Mm-hmm. And even if, because once again, like you just said, there's some people be like, both of them need to hush up, because and that's fine, because some people are going to say, being a public school teacher isn't mine to do. Being like Daryl Davis and having conversations with the Klan, that's not mine to do. And that's cool. That's cool. Know you well enough to know what lane is your lane. But can you love so much that your love empowers them to do the work that is theirs to do? Because if I harbor hatred or whatever that is towards the Klansmen, then when Daryl Davis goes to engage with them, what is the energy that I have now sent forth into the ripples through the tapestry of the universe that said, ain't no Klansmen and they whatever. I'm actually making it more challenging. Versus when I say, because I know who and what I am, I send love to Daryl Davis. I send love to every person he speaks to every conversation he has with the Klan. I send that love to every surgeon who is doing ER work and like whatever that is, because it's not mine to do. But I send love to the process, to the people who are doing that work, to the teachers, I send love to them and to those who they are sending love to. Am I willing to engage in the process to that degree? Because that's also part of what is our invitation, is even if I don't get into the conversation, can I send love to whoever is engaging in the conversation?
Yes. Because you're bringing up such a beautiful point. What is yours to do, what is mine to do are going to be uniquely, wildly different things. But what is every single conscious being's thing to do is to be the love that you are and to bring that love out to the love that is in every other form of love, to send that out, to exude that, to, like to call us, to be a transmitter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you must understand how powerful you are as a divinely made being. And when you begin to understand that you too are a point of light in this grand light, and you have agency around intending that, giving that, exuding that, radiating that, transmitting that, sending that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And the title for this week, "The Other in Love."
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it could be easy to say, well, like in this conversation, you're the other.
Yeah.
You're on the other side of my screen.
Right.
But the moment I open love enough to say, well, wait. I'm other in terms of that as well. How many, well, wait. How many places am I someone else's other? One, but how many times do I other myself? How
Mm-hmm.
many times do I separate, segregate, isolate, compartmentalize my own? Well, I'm okay and I'm cool when I'm doing this. But in this area, I'm not good. There's guilt, there's shame, there's whatever that is. And I other and I separate rather than bringing all of me together in loving compassion and saying, I may not like this part of myself. I may not like this experience that I went through, but I can love myself nonetheless without the judgment, without the criticism, the condemnation. I don't have to other myself. And when I get to that place of wholeness, quote unquote, wholeness with myself, then I'm able to, even for linguistic purposes, refer to another person without othering them in a way that ostracizes and separates. I
Amen.
can still embrace.
Yeah. And again, it starts with self,
Yep.
and
Yep.
there's simple practice I learned from Sonia Renee Taylor, and of identifying, being honest with yourself about the things that you other yourself around, right? That you shun or ostracize with in yourself, and naming those things, and then saying, even if I,
Mm-hmm.
still, I love you, Amani.
Amen.
Even when I XYZ, still, I love you, Amani. It's a simple way to begin to practice that, to call yourself home.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Right.
home. And last question I have on this. I want all of us to spend a moment and get really honest with ourselves about who in our lives we have othered.
Ooh.
Might be a parent, could be a child,
Right.
could be an actual neighbor,
Right.
coworker, community member. Who have you othered that you've just decided, they ain't no good?
Mm-hmm.
And then I invite you to take the practice to them, even if they, even when they, I love you.
Amen.
And I know when sometimes I have to do it, I have to do a whole bunch of deep breathing first.
Right.
Add that to your practice if you need to. Well, I would like to pray for the other in love. What I know about love is that it is absolutely whole and complete, and it is always, always including the entirety of life as you and I know it and beyond. And because this great love is the actual material existence of this reality that you and I call life, I know without a doubt that every time I open my eyes, I can look for love and it will be there. Every time I turn within and find myself criticizing, find myself judging, find myself in a space of unacceptance, I know that love is there. And I know that if I turn within, if I look without and simply seek love, it will meet me every time. Because that is the truth of the one. That is the truth of life itself. And I know that that truth is revealing itself to me, through me, to Raymont, through Raymont, and to everyone within the sound of my voice, right here and right now, in greater and greater ways, revealing and sparking awe and wonder and miracle, available every moment, every eyes wide open, every heart wide open, blossoming and growing this thing called life into greater and greater good, greater and greater becoming the truth, manifesting the love that is so. In every circumstance, in every nook and cranny, every micro piece of life, and every grand gesture needed is unfolding right now because the truth is revealing itself. Always. And I am so grateful that you and I are here to witness, to express, and to delight in this incredible unfolding that is love, that is the life you and I share. How good it is. I am so grateful. I let these words continue to do what they do, blossoming in the mind of the one. Better and better and more and more. Anchor this with me by saying amen, and so it is.
It is.